My name is Sean Wright. I'm a bankruptcy attorney in Pittsburgh, and I've been practicing since 1993. Typically, I represent individuals and families who have financial problems and advise them in seeking relief through the bankruptcy code, using the bankruptcy laws to protect their property and get a financial fresh start. Basically, the bankruptcy laws are there in order to help people wipe out certain debts and able to provide protection from their creditors so that they can keep their homes, keep their property, stop garnishments, and move on with their lives. Now, generally speaking, there are two types of bankruptcies for individuals and families. Chapter 7 bankruptcy and Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is for getting rid of typically unsecured debt. Unsecured debt is debt that is not tied to a mortgage or a car loan. So, in other words, credit card debts, personal loans, medical bills, and so on. These are all examples of unsecured debts. Those are the types of debts that can be wiped out through Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Now, Chapter 7 bankruptcy typically takes, from start to finish, about 5 months. There's a short hearing. It would usually take about 10 minutes long. There's also a short class, a 2-hour class that you have to attend. But the heart of the bankruptcy case is your paperwork. And that's where I come in. Obviously, I'm there to help clients at every step of the way. But the paperwork itself is a financial snapshot of everything that has to do with your financial life. Your salary, income, expenses, all of your debts, all of your assets, and so on. And so there's a lot of effort and information that goes into compiling that paperwork. It's usually about 50 to 55 pages worth of papers. Now, we've talked a little bit about Chapter 7 bankruptcy from start to finish again. 5 months. After that 5-month period, the court issues a discharge order that wipes out the debts. The debts, in other words, that you can wipe out. There are certain debts that you cannot wipe out, such as student loans, recent income taxes, and so on. Now, there are certain debts that you may want to keep, such as your car loan, your mortgage loan. And what we do in those kinds of cases in Chapter 7 is to reaffirm those debts. In other words, you essentially pull those loans back out of the bankruptcy. Your mortgage company and your car lender, as long as you're up to date on those loans, they're not going to mind if you file bankruptcy. If you're current, they're going to permit you to reaffirm the debt and continue paying. They don't care if you file bankruptcy. They just want you to reaffirm and continue to make your payments. Now, Chapter 7, again, is the first type of bankruptcy. The other type is Chapter 13 bankruptcy. There are two scenarios in which someone would need to file Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The first is when, let's say, someone is behind on their mortgage. They're in arrears, they're facing a foreclosure and possible sheriff's sale. The mortgage company is no longer willing to take payments. What happens there is that a lot of people, unless the mortgage company is willing to work with them through modifying a loan, for instance, they are going to have to get bankruptcy relief through Chapter 13 bankruptcy. What that does is permit the person to propose to the court a 3 to 5 year payment plan in which they get caught up on their mortgage arrears and also pay other debts. For instance, car loans, IRS debts, and all of their credit card debts too. It depends on a lot of circumstances as to what debts are going to get paid, the degree to which, for instance, unsecured debt is going to get paid. Sometimes you can wipe out the unsecured debt with little or no payment. So that's Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The other kind of Chapter 13 case is some people aren't eligible for Chapter 7 bankruptcy because they make more than the average income in the state. Or perhaps they've already filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy case within the last 8 years. They have financial problems again, and so they need to refile bankruptcy, this time through Chapter 13. So those kinds of cases arise in which people just have unsecured debt, but that perhaps they make too much money, and again, they would propose a 3 to 5 year payment plan according to their circumstances. So those are the two kinds of bankruptcy that are available to individuals. Most people obviously, they're worried about saving their property. How do we do that? Through the use of bankruptcy exemptions. Those are the laws that we use to protect the property that people own. Home equity, cars, personal possessions, and so on. So you're entitled to keep certain property when you are in bankruptcy. The other thing that people are worried about, obviously, is how this is going to affect their credit. It is going to be on their credit report. It's 7 years in the case of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and 10 years in the case of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. But people are able to reestablish their credit within several years after the bankruptcy cases are over. And that's what I've been seeing in my practice. So people are able to get a bankruptcy discharge, a wipeout order, and move on and get their fresh start and rehabilitate their credit. If you have any questions at all, you seek more information, contact me. I'm located in my office is located in Green Tree in Pittsburgh, and the number is 412-920-6565, or you can email me, Sean@SeanWrightLaw.com. Thanks a lot.